Welcome back to the Resilient Tourism podcast series, brought to you by EHL Hospitality Business School. This podcast is part of the Resilient Tourism Project, funded by InnoSuisse through the flagship program. Digital transformation isn't just about technology, it's about fostering deeper human connections. In Season 3, we explore high tech for high touch, with leading experts and innovators, where we ask ourselves the following question. How can we balance technology and human touch in hospitality and tourism, where people are key to success? In today's episode, Alessandro Inversini sits down with Damaris Papoutsakis, Head of Guest Management and Protocol at UEFA. While we're shifting our focus from the tourism sector to delve into service and hospitality, Damaris brings a fascinating background to the conversation. An EHL alumna, she's currently in a high-service role at UEFA. Although UEFA has developed advanced technological capabilities, Damaris emphasizes the importance of maintaining a deep, personal touch in its services. Enjoy the show.
So welcome. This is Alessandro Inversini, and today I'm very happy to be here with Damaris Papoutsakis, Head of Guest Management and Protocol at UEFA. Hello, Damaris. Welcome to this podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So, Damaris, as we discussed, we are going to talk about high-tech and high-touch. I'd like first to start with high-tech, with this technology evolution. What is high-tech in your business? Can you give us some examples of the evolution of technology over the last few years at UEFA, and especially in your job?
Sure. So we are quite heavily based on technology and we rely heavily on technology. We really couldn't deliver the operations of at least the guest service areas and our events without it. Then we'd be looking at, archaic Excel and guest lists. So over the last years, a lot has been invested in technology. Technology has obviously changed a lot. UEFA has also grown a lot. The portfolio of our events is ever evolving. Expectations of the guest experience is also evolving. So technology is really fundamental to delivering that. We've developed our own system in a lot of things. So we use a solution that is self-developed. It's very customized to our needs. It's very big as well at the moment. So in my view, technology needs to support the operations and needs to support the services of what we deliver. We have reached a point where our experiences and what we want to deliver has evolved. Guest behavior has evolved. Expectations have evolved. How we book flights, simple things, that's also changed. And things have been made a lot easier in technology. And we're at a point where we really need to look at bringing the ease of certain things into our operation.
That's very interesting because my next question is, what is going to be technology in your company in 5 years' time? Because I'm seeing it's lots of things are changing, Damaris, and you're outlining that perfectly. But I feel like you have a side that is more organization and a side that is more human. So how is this technology evolving in this?
Well, I hope it does evolve. I mean, we need to evolve to stay on top of the changes. Recently, just AI, things that can be automated. We need to look at those things in order to increase our efficiency, increase our productivity, so that we really can provide the best possible service, hassle-free service. But it also gives us an opportunity to actually spend more time on the person-to-person elements of working in the hospitality and working in the service industry. We're at a point where our technology has evolved and it delivers what we need it to deliver, but is it now the most efficient system or solution that we have? These are questions we're at the moment asking ourselves. I think every organization at some point needs to take a pause and say, are we doing things in the best way possible? Are the solutions supporting us in the best way possible? And for my area in particular, at the moment, the answer is no. We're definitely behind the trend on certain things. However, upscaling or changing also has its complexities. I think it's actually easier sometimes for a small business to change than it is for a large organization, because change affects a lot of people. It affects a lot of departments. It affects a lot of stakeholders as well. So we need to calculate that change very carefully and really make sure that the new direction we're going for, or the new strategy we are following, is one accepted by everyone, has a long-term vision that makes us more competitive, makes us more agile, and ultimately allows us to deliver a better service and a better experience to our guests, to our customers, to our stakeholders.
I like very much what you're saying. So there are clearly in your job, as far as I can understand, there are the two levels. There's the technology level that is enabled the people-to-people level. So it's kind of the high tech enabling the high touch, but we are not there yet. Am I wrong?
Absolutely. That's exactly, you've translated that very well for me. Yes. So I can give you an example. Currently, we spend a lot of time working on data. So if you look at an event like the Champions League final, we have a lot of guests coming. There's a lot of volatility in flight schedules. So there's a lot of changes. There's a lot of data that needs to be worked on. The solutions we have now, they're great. They give us the data we need. However, they don't anymore fit the fast-paced work that we need to deliver. So, how the data is processed does not fit the workflow that we would ideally like. And so we're looking at how is the best way to change that, because I'd like to move people from at an event, so the team that's working on invitations, that's working on changes, I'd like to move them from away from their laptops to, of course, you're still going to need to spend time on your laptop processing the data, but spend more time talking to the guest, welcoming the guest, interacting with the guest directly, because it's an opportunity. And also this makes us rethink our whole model structure, because if we can have technology support us better, then maybe we can actually centralize certain things. So the data work is done, somewhere else offline, and we can really focus during our events on the face-to-face interaction and delivering things in a very seamless, hassle-free way.
It's very interesting, because it seems to me that you are having one very tangible event to serve with your guest experience. So the football match is staying there. But whatever is happening behind the scenes needs to be improved in order to improve the relationship with the people that are going to the football match. Is that the holy grail of technology implementation in your...
I think technology needs to make a process more efficient, and needs to, there's so many things that we can automate. I have a great team, lots of, tech interest in the team. And recently the team kind of autonomously used Power BI to enhance certain things they do, which ultimately has saved one person for one event, about 4 days of work. That's 4 days they can spend on something else. Multiply that, we do 9 yearly events. That's a lot of days we've saved up. That's days that we can now spend maybe calling people, spending more time on feedbacks, spending time on actually thinking about what should our strategy be? How can we use technology better? So technology is such a vital tool to make sure that you can have the time to offer the value to your guest, to spend more time on your value proposition. And for different businesses, that's of course different things. For ours, it's really, I think, the on-site, being able to troubleshoot, being able to have that FaceTime with our guests, with our stakeholders.
So technology is enabling quality time with your stakeholder to some extent. I'm just trivializing here, but this is very interesting. Do you think all businesses can work on this high tech for high touch, or do you think it's just something that is, let's say, for our wider industry, the service industry?
So my personal take is there's so much tech around us, social media, so many different things. People are on their phone all the time. And again, it very much depends on what your business is, what your product is, what your service is. Technology should definitely be used to enhance efficiency. However, I think in the service industry, and again, this is a very personal take, that the person-to-person contact cannot be replaced. You're on your phone the whole time. When you're traveling, whether it's private or for business, you go somewhere. The person interaction means you step away from a screen, you look up, you breathe, you exchange a story, you just take a moment. Someone checks in with you, they ask you how you feel. And also, technology, processes, these things can fail us. Things go wrong. And it is the people behind it that do the service recovery, that make a difference to an experience. And also, I think that build loyalty. Now, the reliance on technology working well, that also builds loyalty, right? Because I want to make sure that, whether I book my flight or if I book a transfer or if I've, bought a ticket to a match, that I'm going to get that. I want to be able to rely on technology. It is an absolute basic that must be delivered.
So in your position, what would you never use technology for? So let's pretend I come here and I have plenty of solution to sell you them. I'll give it them for free to you. So, but you come to me, Alessandro, there are something in my business that I will never use technology for.
I think welcoming our guests at the hotel. Not at every event. So for some, I think technology is great. But if I can, I think the first hello, the last goodbye is something that's meaningful. It's like, we're here, we're waiting for you, we're happy you've arrived. That's quite an important touch point. Now, it's not something that we can always deliver because different events are delivered at, different budget points, for example. So when you cannot, you need the technology to give the best possible experience to replace the human contact. But if I personally could choose, I would choose like that first hello, the physical first hello, and the last goodbye.
You were saying in class during your guest lecture, you were saying the hugs that people give you when they see you at the
hugs, yes,
at the lobby in the hotel.
Yeah, we have a lot of repeat guests, and I think football's great. I mean, what we do, it's about a competition, it's about sports, and it's not just about the business interaction. So we host a lot of events, and we have a lot of the same stakeholders that visit. And I think it is that, they're happy when they see people that they recognize. And we get occasional hugs, which is always nice.
It's always nice, I believe so, yes. Would you say in your business, success is more linked to iTech or is more linked to iTouch? So in your finance, in all the events you are building, current success and future success, is it more linked to iTech or iTouch?
Oh, this is a good...
It's your opinion.
I don't think it's one or the other, actually, because if you look at a guest journey, you have a lot of different touch points. Some touch points clearly rely on high tech. Our distribution of mobile tickets, high tech. The ability to easy change things, high tech. And the success of that, us being able to do that quickly, flexibly, we can adapt. That is very important. That is key to our success. If I had to go back and, do things a bit the old school way, I wouldn't be able to deliver the service that we currently do. However, having said that, I'm also in a business of hospitality. It's about people, the interactions, building those relationships, technology can't do that for you. Technology can help you do that, CRMs and whatnot, but it doesn't substitute the person to person. And I think that's as well what we do well. We listen to the different stakeholders we have, whether it's, it's clubs, it's national teams, our management, our sponsors, and we try to adapt to what their expectations are, to what current trends are, to just providing a different experience. But a lot of that it's the person to person. And again, if things don't go according to plan, it's a person behind that is going to have a solution or that's going to deal with that. And you don't want to, it's always better, at least for myself, if I have a problem, I prefer talking to someone.
I'm quoting you here because I remember you saying magic happens in the unplanned. So whenever something is happening wrong, magic can happen because people are empowered to actually take ownership of how to deal with customers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is beautiful, especially in a business like yours. And I was wondering, Damaris, I'm hearing that technology stays in the background and people connection stays in the foreground. Whatever is happening in the background should empower people in the foreground. So if you have 5 functionalities or 5 technologies or 5 things that you must have, what would these be?
So I think any solution that correctly synthesizes data. Data is so powerful. It gives you insights on your guest trends. It's there to help you make decisions without a correct analysis of data. And you want a tool that does the analysis for you, right? That can synthesize different things, can recognize different patterns. And I think nowadays this is, very easy. It's almost overwhelming because, we're currently sitting here, we're talking about high tech. I don't know the latest high tech. I mean, someone said a very good thing. They're like, in any given day, we're in the worst version of AI. That's to some degree quite intimidating because you're like, oh, am I missing out on something? What should we be looking for? But so I think data analysis is definitely one. Automation of data. So how much can we automate? What tasks can we take away that are repetitive, that can be kind of automated? Again, so that the people we have can add more value. Their skill set can be brought to life better. And I think this is key. But for every business, that looks very different.
So I think you mentioned that already a little bit. But if you think about the skill set of people in our field, in the service field, what new competencies will our graduates from EHL or from all the other universities that are working really on services, what kind of competence do new professionals need? How can the industry attract and retain talent to join and lead this transformation? That's a very tricky question.
It's a very tricky question.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I think, graduates, and hopefully they come into the workforce with more insights on what can be done, how can technology be used. So I think one thing is definitely, and this is the value of, hiring graduates and hiring bringing the younger generation as well into the workforce, is they are more tech savvy. They do know the latest kind of things that are coming out. And, I think that being part of a curriculum, like it is at EHL, adds a lot of value. We innovate differently. We think of innovation differently. We can use high tech and AI to support us in our innovation journeys. And this is, I think, very important. I can give you an example recently to a person from my team and one of the freelancers we have. They came up with a solution that they kind of developed themselves, which replaces something that, we pay quite a heavy license for. But they did it themselves, and it didn't cost us a lot. So high tech doesn't always mean in today's world high cost. I think the value that graduates can really bring is understanding what is out there and understanding how best to use that, and how can things be automated? How can they be more efficient? But at the same time, I don't want someone depends on the job description, but someone that's almost bilingual in both worlds, high tech and high touch, because I need you to troubleshoot. I need you to build relationships. I'm going to, you're going to need to stand and face customers. So in hospitality, we have a lot of faces. It's kind of like the theater. You need to be this on this day, but you need to be something else and play a different part on another day. And especially if you look at leadership roles, you're managing the two. And I think, in order to be successful, again, depending what your business model is, but definitely for ours, for looking in the industry we're in sports, it's about engagement. It's about emotions and passion. And I think that you just have with interacting between people, seeing people.
This is beautiful. Also because I can relate to it, especially the industry in which you guys are. It's people heavy. It's passion heavy. It's shouting heavy. It's everything heavy on the side of iTouch. And I like the fact that iTech is there, or technology is there, to even amplify this kind of people heavy industry. Mm-hmm. And that's fantastic. Mm-hmm. Anything that I miss in my questions about iTech and iTouch, or anything that you would like to share with us in this field? So let's pretend I'm SMEs from Canton de Vaud.
Okay.
And I ask you, Damaris, how you did it? How can I do it? Is iTech for iTouch in this digital transformation for all, or is just for big brands?
I think it's definitely for all, because there are so many accessible tools out there now. But I think, if an SME is looking to evaluate this, first of all, you go back to basics. You look at who are your customers, what are you delivering, what is the value? And I think, what is the value proposition to your clients? You need to have a very clear vision on that. Or you need to know, what problem am I solving? And once you've got that, it is a whole journey of evaluation of what is out there. And using high tech should always be in support of fulfilling your value proposition to your customer and to your clients. Because if it's just using it for the sake of using it, then I don't think that's then the right strategy going forward for any organization.
I like what you said. I'm quoting one of my colleagues and friend here, Ian Miller, that says, that I believe you remember.
Yes, he was a teacher when I was at school, Excel at the time.
Ian Miller says, in digital transformation projects, you need to love the problem and not the solution. You need to fall in love with the value you have to deliver, rather than sticking to a solution that is fancy, that is nice, and so on and so forth. And I think this is a great message also for SMEs and other companies.
Absolutely.
Damaris, thank you very much for the time spent with us. It was very, very interesting. And thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the discussion. If this is the case, be sure not to miss our other episodes.